Hello, my name is Marcia Therese Danzig. I am the author of Fierce Joy, which is a memoir about choosing joy no matter what. I'm here with my father, Robert J. Danzig, Bob Danzig, or as I call him, Dad. He's the former vice president of the Hearst Corporation and president of Hearst Newspapers. He's a motivational speaker. And I'd really like to get his perspective on what it was like for him as a father watching and dealing with a daughter who had bone cancer, kidney disease, losing a leg, and all of that. So, Dad, can you give me a little bit of background and what your experiences were like and how you have dealt with all of that?
Mhm. Well, let me answer by a series of just impulses, sweetheart. One impulse was the discovery that you had this Ewing sarcoma, which is a very virulent type of bone cancer. And I remember you being in the Children's Hospital in Boston because they specialized in that particular situation. And it overwhelmed me. It just overwhelmed me because I never, ever forgot, to this moment, signing that paper that resulted in the amputation of your left leg. I've never stopped seeing that form. But I also never stopped seeing the fact that the hospital brought another young teenager, you were 14 at the time, brought another young teenager to visit you before your surgery. Her name was Candace Euler, and she was from Chippewa, or one of those.
Chicopee?
What is it?
Chicopee?
Chicopee, Massachusetts. And she volunteered to come and visit with people that would be facing the same amputation she did, the same aggressive chemotherapy, to encourage them to believe in their tomorrows. So while I had this dual emotional range, one, the trauma of having to sign that paper, the second, the awareness that somehow through all of that, one could still build a meaningful and caring and loving life. Now, in your case, because the chemotherapy was so experimental, it did result in a series of other physical challenges. Your bladder being removed, your kidneys failing. And every time one of those occurred, I can remember looking up at the sky and saying, why should one person have so much imposed upon them? But the only thing that kept me from being permanently sad was that you always found a way to hold on to the possible.
Yeah.
You just found a way. Your spirit was never diminished. You may have been physically challenged and upset and going through all kinds of difficulty, but your spirit was polished. It shined through. So I held on to your spirit. I held on to your spirit. And I must admit that, I have 5 children, and thank God none of the rest of them today does anything like the physical challenges you faced. But to me, the way I describe it, because as you know, you admonished me to never give a speech without telling your story. And I've never failed to do that, all right? And what I tell people in those stories and my speeches is that you were the candle inviting our whole family to warm themselves through your choice to embrace spirit in your life. So I found myself balancing all the time between a kind of a shock of these continuing physical challenges and this warming of the candle of possibility that you represented. To this day, I can't get over the range of things that flow from your commitment to having a buoyant, joyful spirit. So that while there was a lot of trauma and all that, I would say the dominant takeaway is the example of your life to invite all of us in our family to say, come warm yourself from my candle. And I see your candle before my eyes all the time.
That's so nice.
It's the most brilliant part of our love that I have with you is seeing that candle. Last Saturday night, we took you to dinner and dancing with Diane and I, okay?
That's fun.
And I can't get over the fact that there you are up there dancing every dance, okay? Because you've made your prosthesis just a part of your life, not the
Yes.
dominant factor of your life at all. Here you are now offering yoga programs for amputees and other people suffering trauma in their life, so that everything you do, to me, is building this larger candle for people to warm themselves off of. So I'm very proud that you're my daughter. I choose not to hold on to the adversity you've had to struggle with. I choose to hold on to your flame of the joyous.
And with that, I'm wondering, there is something that I'm also hearing, that maybe perhaps you also made those decisions. In one of the chats that we had, you talked about that idea of you are worthwhile and choosing your sense of value. To me, I believe that was imparted from father to daughter. And so there must be some life force, some curiosity, as you call it, angel thread, that carried into my own life.
I think what you described, the manifestation of having a fabulous father.
That's right.
A gifted father, a daddy.
Yeah.
Just chugging along with love. Well, no, I think though, seriously, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I think parenthood is a privilege. And having never had a real family as a child, I've treasured having my children. Treasured them, and I do to this day.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. That means a lot, and I hope that other parents who are dealing with perhaps a new diagnosis of a child with cancer or other serious illness, or on the other side of it, can see me standing here or sitting here with my dad and having this wonderful time together. Thanks for sharing.
I agree with you, even though your shirt is bland and it's colorful, still.
Well, what else is new?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. And you can find out more about Fierce Joy by going to www.fiercejoy.net. Thank you.